So I'm going to be putting down a Luan subfloor in this kitchen, and that's going to give us a really smooth, slick surface to install our new vinyl over. That is key when installing vinyl, is having a super slick, really well prepped out floor. That's going to make your vinyl job look professional. So typically I could take and just go right over this vinyl here because it is down well and everything like that. However, I do have a couple of spots in the subfloor that I'm concerned about. Right over in that entryway right there that's leading into the dining room, I do have a small dip in the floor. I'm kind of concerned about the subfloor there. Might need a little bit of work on it. And we've already got some tore out right there where the stove and refrigerator goes. That is because it was crinkled up behind there, so we'll go ahead and took that out. And right here by the back door, as you can see, it is doing a little bit of blackening right around there, so I am a little concerned about water damage on the subfloor. So again, that's why we're going to tear this existing vinyl floor out, to just get a good eye and a good look on all of the subfloor, just to see if it does need any work done on it before we put down our Luan. So the first thing that we want to do is remove all of our transition strips right there, and any trim pieces that we have. You can see the shoe molding right up next to the cabinet. We want to move any trim pieces and any transitions that go in or out of the room, and then we can start to remove our vinyl flooring. Okay, so now we have our trim took up and our transition pieces removed, and we've done that by simply taking a pry bar and a hammer and getting underneath of them and raising them up. So the kick plates of the cabinets were installed on the vinyl, so we're going to have to take our knife and cut the vinyl away so we can release it from out from underneath the cabinets, and also release it from out from underneath of the baseboards, so we do not have to remove the baseboards, because we are going to be installing shoe molding when the job is finished. So now I've got it cut all the way around the edges. I don't have anything holding it down other than the glue itself, and that is not holding too well. So what I want to do now, just to make it easier to get up, I'm going to cut it in like 2 or 3 foot sections and just take up strips at a time, rather than trying to take up one great big piece at once. It's going to make it a lot easier if we'll just take our knife and cut it into strips and take it up in smaller pieces. Okay, so unfortunately we do have a little bit of rot right here by the back door where water has been coming in, and it does go all the way over to the other side of the door. So we are going to have to take this out, and you can always check. Sometimes it'll be discolored and not be damaged. It can just be discolored from water or whatever. So if you ever want to check to make sure that your subfloor is actually rotted and it needs to come out, just take one of the spots. Listen, hear that? It almost sounds like paper where it's starting to delaminate. So if you hear that, and also if you can do this, and you see that right there, it just flaking up, we don't want that. So anytime it does come up just that easy, and it's just like you could just poke right in it. So we want to hear that. we want to get rid of that. That is rot, and it's not going to be stable to walk on, especially right here in the high traffic area of coming in and out of the house. So what I'm going to do is I want to take, looks like all the way from probably about right there and come all the way over in front of both doors. I don't even know, I might have to get inside that just a little bit, inside my utility room. We'll see how that looks. This right here, excuse me, I didn't mean to say utility, I meant pantry. This right here is also just really soft, rotten, so that's going to have to come out. Even if it wasn't, we didn't want to spend the money to fix it the right way and just cover it up with underlayment, because the underlayment is going to give us a smooth surface. However, this rot is not going to hold the staples it takes to fasten the underlayment to the floor. So what's going to happen is this is going to move up and down, and it's going to work your staples out and cause problems with your vinyl. So you're better off just to go ahead and take care of this and be done with it and do everything right. Okay, so as you can see, we did end up having to cut some of this out right here and frame it in there to get our new board nice and solid and stable. You can see right here we got it cut for around the vent. There's going to be a vent right there, so that is the purpose of that gap there. Everything else is all framed in and ready to go. I'm not going to get a whole lot into framing that out right now. I have multiple videos on that, and if you would like to see more in depth on how I got to that point of the repair, I'll leave a little teaser click right up here in the corner. And now I'm fixing to make my cut on my board and get that placed in there, and then we'll be ready to carry on prepping the floor and getting it ready for the underlayment. Okay, so now we have the rotted floor repaired, and now we are on to continue prepping the floor and getting it ready for underlayment. So we have got stuff like this right here left over on the floor from my existing vinyl. I want to go ahead and scrape that up, and all of that stuff right there we want to get up. So you might say, Ruben, is that really necessary? Well, I tell you, you're fixing to cover this existing floor up with an underlayment. Anything that's on the floor now, any imperfections in this floor is going to be there, because you're not going to tear your underlayment up to fix your floor. So it's highly important, if you ask me, to do all the repairs, all the cleaning you possibly can to this floor, because like I said, it's covered up. Once it's covered, it's covered. There's no pulling your vinyl back and fixing or anything like that, because you're covering it with a underlayment. Okay, so after scraping all the paper up from my existing vinyl, I want to go over and check all my seams in the subfloor itself, make sure they're all nice and level. Okay, subfloor is, underlayment is not a fix-all. Okay, whatever, if there's a hump in this floor, there's going to be a hump in the underlayment. This stuff, the underlayment will set on there just as flat as anything, so it's only going to give you a slick surface. So we definitely need to prep this floor out before we get our underlayment on there. And also, what we need to do, again, this is fixing to be covered up, so if there's any squeaking, anything, we need to take care of that right now. So what you can do is go ahead, kind of walk the floor. Make sure you don't hear anything. If you hear something, go ahead and put some screws in it. Right there. I heard something right here a while ago. Anyway, looks like I'm doing the two-step or something maybe. But anyway, any squeaks, anything like that whatsoever, put some screws in it. A lot of people rag me about screwing the subfloor down, say it needs to be nailed, blah, 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 blah. Nails work out with the movement of the floor, okay? You put you some 2.5-inch screws in there, wood screws. They're going to hold, okay? They're going to hold a lot better than nails. As a matter of fact, if the floor was screwed down, what happens when you get a squeak, a lot of times your nail will actually be in the board like that and working up and down, and that's what's making the squeak. So if it's screwed down, it's tight, it's not going to work up and down, and it's not going to squeak. So my opinion, anything that has movement to it needs to be screwed down, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take care of all of these steps, and we'll come back for the next process. So I would like to add that this Persona 4-inch hand scraper is probably one of my most comfortable, one of my most favorite ones I've ever had throughout my career. And in case you're interested, I'll leave a link down below. I try to leave links in my videos to all the tools that I use, just for the just to make it easy on you guys. If you say, oh, I like that tool that he's using, I would like to have that, where can I get it? Simple. Look in the description of my videos and you'll see on pretty much all of my videos links to each tool. Don't get any easier than that. You just click on the link, boom, you're right there at it. So, and again, this thing right here, because it has a nice rounded thing right there, even if you're scraping something hard, you know, you got something nice right there to hold on to. That feels really good on your palm. You're not going to have a really hard red spot sore from the traditional little bitty skinny handles on other scrapers. So, okay, so I did find a little hollow spot sounding where the board was moving, and I could hear it hit the joist like that whenever I was walking on it, actually when I was bouncing on it a while ago. So again, before I cover it up, it's a lot easier to do this beforehand, because you can see your pre-existing nails, and that's going to let you know where the floor joists are and let you know where to screw it down at. If you cover this up and then you got a squeak or something, you're not going to know where your joists are at. So it's extremely important to get all your screwing down, all your squeaks, everything completely took care of before you put your underlayment down. Your subfloor should be in extremely good shape in order to have good results on your vinyl install and on your underlayment install. So right here I'm just using a little dewalt 20 volt max with the lithium-ion battery, and they are plenty strong to do stuff like this right here. And I'm using 2.5 inch star head screws. I really like them. I like the star head a lot better than the Phillips head. I never buy Phillips head screws for anything like this. And a T25, I think, is the number. Yeah, T25 star bit. These star bits and screws get such a better hold. It's a lot better than fighting with a Phillips or definitely a flathead. So as I stated at the very front of this video, I stated that there was a little bit of a ridge right here, and I actually thought this part from this seam right here in the plywood in the subfloor, I thought was tapered down this direction. But after laying a 6-foot straight edge on it, I can plainly see that it don't dip down at all. I'm touching right here and I'm touching on the other side of that. This right here, the seam in the subfloor, is actually raised up just a little bit, because it's hollow right here and it's hollow right there, right behind it, and then right back there it's touching the floor, and right here at this end it's touching the floor. So that lets me know that this seam in the plywood is a little bit high. So what I want to do to prevent that, because I could see it and feel it last time, that's what I stated at the front of the video. So to keep that from showing, even with my new underlayment and my new vinyl down, I want to take my edger and knock this down just a little bit. I want to sand it down just a little bit and make it nice and smooth right there. I wish you guys could feel that. That's not much, but a little bit is visible, and the reason why that is because I got light coming from those back doors right across this, and that makes it stand out like a sore thumb. So I would definitely want to take care of this before I stick my underlayment down, or else it's going to be right there in my underlayment as well. So what I want to use to take care of these is, I get these sanding discs right here from Lowe's. I actually did a video here a while back and I said I got them from Home Depot. I was mistaken. These are a Lowe's product. As you can see right here, this one is a 50 grit, and it comes, I use this one for sanding my underlayment because I do not want to eat too much of it out at once. These right here are a 36 grit, which is a little bit rougher, and it's going to remove more material faster. So I don't want to use this on the underlayment in fear of cutting a groove in it as I'm sanding it, okay? So I'll use the smoother ones. It gives me a little bit more to play with. I ain't got to be so specific and so worried about digging a groove in my underlayment. However, I do want to use these 36 grit on the original subfloor. That way I can remove that hump really fast, and I don't have to sit there for 5 minutes or something and sand it on it. On the underlayment, when you put your underlayment down, if you have any seams sticking up whatsoever, it should just be very, very minimal, and these 50 grit are going to work excellent for that, okay? And this is the machine that I'm going to be using for this to sand it down. This is a Super R7. It's made by Clark American Sanders, and this holds a 7-inch sanding pad. This right here on the bottom of the disc, and it's actually for sanding hardwood floors to refinish them. So this is a really fast and efficient way to do your sanding. So this is a great tool if you do a lot of underlayment or a lot of subfloor work or anything like that. Highly recommend investing in one of these for your jobs if you do a lot of that kind of stuff. Okay, that feels a whole lot better. So now that we got that done, all we have to do now is cut off our door jambs for the underlayment and vinyl. Okay, so now it's time to cut the door jambs. And what I do is I just take, this is actually a little scrap of my underlayment that I'm going to be using. And what I'm going to do is just slide it right up against the threshold. First off, I want to make sure there's no debris under it, which is going to give me an inaccurate cut. Will cause the door jamb to be too high, and we don't want that because then it'll look like a big black line underneath the door jamb before it touches your vinyl. So we want to get it fairly close, but at the same time we don't want to get it so tight to where we're struggling with getting our underlayment and our vinyl underneath there. We want enough room to where we're not struggling, but not too much to where it's going to be a big gap. So how I like to do that, a lot of people will take their underlayment or their product or whatever they're using and set it right here and slide that in on that right there, and that gives you an absolutely exact cut. Okay, however, like I just said, I don't like it to be too tight because I don't want to be struggling with it. So I'll take my product, my underlayment here or whatever I'm putting down, and I'll lay my construction pencil down on it flat. So by me holding my pencil flat on the floor like that, you can see there I got maybe a 1/16 or so from the actual underlayment to my pencil lead. So that is going to give me a good amount to where I'm not struggling getting my vinyl and underlayment under there, and it's not going to be too much to where it's going to look awful and stuff like that. So by laying my pencil flat on the board, it is going to make it just a little bit higher, but that's going to be perfect. Now you can see that right there. I got so if you can see how much higher that is, the pencil mark, than my underlayment, that is going to be perfect. Okay, that's maybe, like I said, a 1/16, maybe just a hair more than a 1/16 inch higher, and that's going to give me plenty of room to get my vinyl under there without struggling. And the tool that I use to do my cutting with is this Makita oscillating tool right here. As you can see right there, I use this thing a lot for a lot of different reasons. Some people ask me, why don't you get a regular jam saw that's specifically made for cutting these jams? Well, this tool right here is a jam saw and so much more. So to buy a jam saw, I think is just unnecessary if you've got one of these. So, and the blades that I use for these are Dremel blades. I have a regular Rockwell blade right here and then a Dremel blade, and I just want to show you the difference there if I can. These Dremel blades are carbon tipped, so they last a whole lot longer. They are quite expensive. They cost about 40 bucks for 3 of them, but they last a whole lot longer. They are, hear that? Hear the difference in that? These are almost twice as thick as your average blades there. So these Dremel blades are by far the way to go. Now with that being said, I'm just going to cut right to the bottom of my line right there, okay? I don't want to go above it or even on it. I want to try to stay just below it. And with these Dremel blades, like I said, they are thicker, so you don't have to worry about it bending and causing your cut to go upwards or anything like that. However, with these thinner blades, these will actually bend when they get inside of your cut and cause your cut to go up or down or not straight. We'll just say that. There we have it. Take my knife and pull that little piece out of there. And there we go. Blow that dust away there. Now look at what you got right there. That's going to be just right. By the time I get my vinyl in there, that thickness of that gap is going to be perfect. It's going to be a nice fit. Okay, now that we got everything done that we need to do, we're ready to clean this place up and get started installing some underlayment. So I like to sweep around all the edges of the room with a small little broom such as this. And what I'll do, rather than going long sweeps like that right there, what happens is when you drag your broom like that, you only drag it so far and then stuff starts rolling out the back of it. So I'll take and do I'll do me some short little quick strokes. See that? They're just about two inches at a swipe there, 2 or 3 inches, and I just work my way around the entire room doing quick, short little strokes like that right there. Might do. That's going to get you your best results. Like I said, if you do long sweeps like that, you're just going to get all kinds of debris coming out the back of your broom because, like I said, it's only going to go so far and then start rolling out the back. Once I get that done, all the way around the edges, I'll take my push broom and then I'll do the complete center of the room. Not once, I'll go over the floor twice. This is completely crucial, not to have any debris, any kind of garbage whatsoever underneath of your underlayment. What happens is if you put your underlayment down and you step on it, you got a piece of sawdust or something that would make any kind of noise on there, you're going to step on it like that and it's going to crunch. Or if you have just a little something under there that would cause the underlayment not to go all the way flat down on the floor like that while you're stapling it, and then you step on it, boom, your staple is going to be sticking up above your underlayment. Okay, so it is extremely crucial that you get your floor really, really good. Okay, and I tell you, the type of push broom that you use is crucial too. A lot of guys will go to Lowe's or wherever and get their job site push brooms to use. That's not very good, okay? Those that got big fat bristles and stuff like that, they are great for sidewalks and driveways and stuff like that. However, they're not very good when you want to get down to nitty-gritty cleaning such as you need to do when you're installing vinyl or some other kind of glue down product. Get yourself a nice soft bristled push broom. You're going to get your best results out of that. Okay, so if you see that little pile of debris right there, that is what I got on my second sweep with my push broom. So that's why it's always good to go over your floor twice, just because, especially on a floor that's so discolored and it's got old glue and stuff like that throughout this floor, a little bit of debris and garbage would be hard to see on this particular floor. So it's always good to go back over just to make sure that you get everything up, okay? Now, to pick that up, I'm actually going to take my vacuum cleaner hose and suck it right up rather than trying to sweep it up on a dustpan, because your final sweep, even though you sweep it up on a dustpan, you're still going to leave just a little bit of something there. So my very last pickup, I always use my vacuum cleaner hose to suck it right up, and that's ensuring me that I'm getting all of the dust and everything up. And another thing that I like to do, this is something that I do every single vinyl job, glue down or carpet job or anything like that. I always will go around the edges with my vacuum cleaner wand. This has a chiseled tip on it, so when you stick it on the floor like so, it almost cuts all of the air completely off. See, it's got a little bit of groove in it right there on the side, just so it can get some suction. But if you will put that chiseled edge down on the floor where it's sitting almost flat, it increases the suction power dramatically. And I will always, once I'm done sweeping and everything, go around all the walls, make sure I suck out really good underneath the door jambs and stuff like that. If you accidentally cut your board too long or a little bit too short and you have to pull it back out from underneath there, it's quite possible you're going to pull some debris or something like that out from underneath the door jambs. Then you're going to have to sweep, vacuum, and stuff like that to get that little bit of debris up. So that's why I always will use my vacuum cleaner to go around the walls. Just one more thing I want to point out here. I am working up to a laminate in this room, in my living room, and over there in my dining area. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take this wand off and make it short so that I can get down here, because it's almost a guarantee that there has been a little bit of debris get underneath of this. So what I want to do is take it don't matter, a screwdriver, a sumo lifter, or anything like that, some kind of pry bar, just something to raise that up a little bit. And I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. Again, put my chiseled edge on there and suck out anything that could have possibly gotten underneath of there. Okay, so this is going to be the last step that we needed to do here as far as getting ready for our actual underlayment product. So now we're ready to start the install. Anyway, I hope you guys was able to benefit something from this video and take it to your job with you and help you do better work, do better quality of work, and help you feel more confident in what you're doing above all, because confidence is key. It's going to allow you to do better work and stuff like that if you feel good about your work. So by all means, I hope this was able to help. Smash that like button for me, okay? Leave a comment down below. Tell me things that you would do a little bit different, things that maybe you do a little bit different, or just straight up if you liked it or not. Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, FBSB is out.